Her voice. He fell in love with her voice at first hearing. It suited him, Sister Deborah. He also loved the feel of her touch when she guided his hands to the keyboard. He loved her. He knew it deep in his heart. Being a blind man of 25 was hard, and it would be even harder if he didn't have a life mate to share it with. He had been attending Christian Mission Parish for over 3 years since he moved from Inewi, Anambra, where his parents resided. Although blind, he was self-sufficient and had his own apartment. What more could he ask for? He ought to have been scared to propose to her, but he was not. She talked with him a lot and even held his hand. The last time, she even asked him for 100,000 naira for her hair, which he gave her. He ordered food for her and even sponsored her travels. He had done enough. Now it was time to show her his real intentions. Being the daughter of Deacon and Deaconess Farutimin, Deborah was well respected in church, and he knew her influence would change his life for the better. He could move from just being a piano teacher to owning his own music college, which was his dream. His disability had nearly stolen that dream, and his parents' negligence had threatened to end it. But he would get it back, with the help of Sister Deborah as his wife. He waited patiently for the service to be over that day. As usual, she came over to him. He scented her perfume before she spoke. Sister Deborah, how delightful to have you come to me, he greeted. Yes, I wanted to say you played wonderfully well today. I could feel the Spirit of God move through your piano. He laughed gently. You flatter me, ma. Don't call me ma. We are friends, aren't we? Yes, we are. Actually, Sister Deborah, can I see you in private? She laughed, the sound reaching his ears. You can't see me. You can only sense me, she corrected. About that, please lead the way, he cajoled. She reached out to hold his hand. Nationally, he could navigate himself perfectly with the aid of his smart cane, but he loved the feel of her touch against his skin, and the privilege of standing next to her was too great for him to remind her that he could move perfectly without her help. She led him to a quiet room in the church. He cleared his throat. You said you wanted to talk to me. I hope it is not an emergency. He loved the sound of her voice. Actually, Sister Deborah, I have been wanting to say this to you for a few months now. Please speak up. You don't have to be scared to say anything to me. What are friends for? She said sweetly, holding his hands and caressing the back of it. I like you. I like you a lot, and I would like to ask you to do the honors of being my wife. She threw his hand away. What rubbish is that? Me to you. You this blind bat. You think I am interested in the likes of you? God forbid. The father of my children will not be a blind man. She eased and made to move away. He counted her steps and blocked her way. But I thought you felt the same way about me. You check on my welfare and I take care of you. Like men that spend on me, and you were an easy fool. In fact, I was doing you a favor by hanging around you. You were the one who decided to spend. Don't you even dare to say you want to marry me. Imbecile like you. They are calling men. Lizard too is nodding his head. She hissed finally and stomped out. Emmanuel was used to being insulted over being blind, but never had he been this insulted by someone he fancied himself in love with. Dejected, he switched on his cane and walked out. He had barely stepped out when his cane alerted him of the many presence of people around him. Watch in front of you. Move to the left. Pause. Move to the right. The instructions rang on. It was as if so many people were gathered purposely around him. It was not until the hand of the youth pastor, Pastor Andrew, touched him and held him that he knew something was really wrong. Daddy Gio wants to speak to the both of you. Wait, what is going on? He asked. The old church heard you got rejected by Sister Deborah. That is all. His old word tilted, and the young pastor had to hold him up. His cane crashed to the floor. You can't show weakness, Emmanuel. You have to be strong. Get into the senior pastor's office first. Then you all can discuss it. Don't let anyone see you crumble. He was helped into Pastor Komalafer's office. He scented her before he saw her. Sister Deborah, she was here. He wondered if he had hallucinated about her affection, cause her ease at his presence could be heard all the way from outside. Sister Deborah, that was very immature of you, Pastor Komalafe shouted. His tone made Emmanuel ask that he explain the situation to him. She led you to the broadcast room and put the thing on speaker. How could you do that to someone like him? Must you mock him? The pastor charged at Sister Deborah. She began crying, heart-wrenching tears that ached him. I had no idea the microphones were on. I just wanted us to talk in private. I hope you are saying the truth really. For your sake, I hope you are. Because if you are not, that would mean you are evil. Emmanuel could not bear it anymore. Sir, it is okay. Do not blame her for what she knows nothing about. You can leave. The pastor told Deborah, who stood up promptly and left the place. Sir, I can defend myself, and she had the right to reject me. I don't like the tone of your voice with which you spoke to her. Emmanuel expressed his displeasure as Deborah left. I hope she is saying the truth. That girl has been spoiled badly by Deacon Farotimi, and she does not know what she missed by rejecting you. I see your future. You're a great man. known by the entire world. She's going to regret saying no to you just because of your blindness. Emmanuel signed. There was no arguing with Pastor Komolafe. He was the only one who held the belief. Perhaps he had even acted ahead of himself. Love and marriage was not for the likes of him. Perhaps he could even work on dating other blind people he knew. He took excuse from the pastor and took his leave. He might not have eyes, but Emmanuel could feel the stare of the church members on him as he left the church premises. So many murmurs reached him, all scornful. The blind bat wants to marry the most beautiful and promising girl in church. How dare he? He is a dog. That is what he is. The scorn trailed him. His cab guy was already waiting for him outside. It was not until he was inside the cab that he allowed himself to let go. He switched on his phone. The smart AI assistant greeting him. You have 87 missed calls from mother, 10 from father. His head rose up. What's going on here? His driver spoke up. Wetin happen now? You lost? The driver was from his hometown and knew his parents, Hayo. There was only one way to find out, so he called them back. Mother told him clearly, come home immediately, and I called the call instantly. Emmanuel wondered what was going on. She sounded too angry for it to be a bad occurrence. He had been home some months ago, and he did not remember breaking any of her china pots. Emmanuel didn't really have any close relationship with his parents. He blamed them for the condition that he was in. He hadn't been born blind. Their neglect had made his eyesight worse until they had finally caved in on him. He had informed his driver to drive him to the motor park immediately. His brother would pick him up from there. He was soon on his way to Nnewi, Anambra. His father's usually loud and boisterous compound was quiet as a graveyard when they drove in. His younger brother had refused to say a single word to him throughout the entire drive. He even left him to find his way in. He could manage anyway. He is here. That was his father's voice, and even he didn't sound pleased. He folded his cane as he stepped inside. He knew the layout of his father's house by heart. He was about taking his seat when his mother screamed at him. How dare you try to sit? You had better remain standing because this might be the last time you step into this house. Emmanuel had had enough. Dad, it is either you both say what is going on, or I will walk out of here myself and never return. He promised, and he meant it. He didn't like their treatment of him. You can't even go anywhere. How dare you act arrogant when you are just a blind idiot? How dare you impregnate my daughter? His father's tenant, Mrs. Remy, scolded. If there was anyone Emmanuel avoided and disliked with passion among his father's tenants, it was the troublesome woman. What did you say? He asked. I don't even speak to your daughter. Emmanuel defended himself, alarmed. He hadn't spoken a single word to the girl ever since he became blind. She avoided him like a plague. Deny. She said you two have been seeing each other and that you slept with her by force the last time he came home. It is your pregnancy, she screamed. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought he was going to be accused of such. Everyone knew her daughter Abigail was the most frivolous and extroverted being to walk the planet. According to his younger brother James, she goes out with boys all the time in school and was always moving around with boys. There was almost no boy in the street that hadn't slept with her. And what? She's pregnant now and probably unable to abort. Is now turning her burden and disgraceful self to him, and everyone believed her? That is preposterous. How can you people believe that I slept with Abigail? For your information, I have never slept with a woman before. He revealed. His mother eased, the sound sending a deep pang to his chest. We have a video recording of you. One of our friends recorded the two of you, thankfully. Emmanuel paled. The recording was played for him to watch. Since he couldn't, he listened. He could hear her moaning sounds, but none of his. He was about to speak when undeniably he heard himself moan in response to her. His mother ended the video. I am so disgusted that you would bring shame on this family. If you were so eager to have sex, you could have married one of your kind. Must you embarrass me? Your father is the pastor of a church. That is why you must marry her. Mrs. Farotimi called. Where is that girl? Mr. Farotimi called. He noticed her perfume when she walked in. He hated the smell of it. He had always done so. When he could still see, he knew how gorgeous Abigail was, an ebony beauty with a perfect body, one that made men stare. They had been long-time tenants of his father and fellow church members. She had been his childhood affection, but ever since he became blind, she even joined others to mock him, which was why the situation puzzled him. Why did she set him up? It really ached to know no one would believe him. What would she gain from becoming the wife of a blind man? Why turn him into the father of a baby he was not? His parents ignored all of his protests about not being able to marry her. The traditional wedding was conducted, and they were practically pursued out of Anambra. He didn't even have a single time to have Abigail alone to himself, so he could question what went on in her mind. They took the night bus back to Lagos the next day. She tried a couple times to help him on the bus, but he flicked her off. He could manage just fine without her. She stopped helping him just then. He had just stepped into his modest, self-contained apartment in Victoria Island, Lagos, when his phone began ringing. It was Pastor Komolafe. Emmanuel groaned. How wonderful. Wonderful, he thought. How would he tell the pastor that 2 days after he was rejected, he suddenly had a baby and a wife? Emmanuel was not shocked when Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Komolafe knocked on his door barely 4 hours after he got in from Anambra. He clicked the door remote, unlocking it. He stood as they entered the house. What is going on? Is your father saying the truth? I was eating when he called me. I was not expecting this. This is such a shocker. I refuse to believe that you would do such. I mean, just 2 days ago, you were all over Sister Deborah Faultimi. The pastor ranted as soon as he sat down. Emmanuel could feel the headache coming down fast on him. The pastor's wife cleared her throat. We would like to hear your own side of the story. I was called home and I'm told I am the father of our child. We had to get married to remove the shame. My father's reputation as a church pastor was on the line. He even banned me from ever coming to his home or calling him father, Emmanuel said. That is not what I want to hear. Are you responsible for the child? Mrs. Komolafe demanded. If they say I am, then I have to be. The evidence against me is infallible, Emmanuel stated. Yes, the video was sent to us. What? Embarrassment washed all over him. His breath caught. It was one of those moments when he hated his inability to see. He couldn't even remember what happened that night. He had been so tired and had blacked out. Now his naked body was being paraded on video. You do not have to worry. We deleted it immediately and we want your father to do the same. If that video gets into the wrong hands, it will not only harm you, but him as well. Thank you, sir, Emmanuel answered, but not relieved in the slightest. His father was a fanatical Christian who only did things his own way. Where is your wife? Emmanuel winced. She's in the room, although I will recommend you leave her alone. I do not think she will want to see anyone at the moment, he said truthfully. But the pastor's wife would not be deterred. What do you mean? Don't protect her. I know you did not sleep with her. She most likely saw you as an easy target because you are blind. She needs to know that what she has done is wrong and she will face the consequences. Alright, she is in the room, Emmanuel answered. He wished that success with Abigail. Pastor Komolafe spoke up. I am sorry I made you go home that December. You were so against it, but I wanted you to be friendly with your parents again. Mom says she will never forgive me, he stated calmly. You don't have to worry. Let's just wait until she gives birth. Then we will do the DNA test and you can be exonerated from all this. Before long, the pastor's wife came out irritated. What does she take herself for? I knocked on the door and she refused to open it. This is a self-contained apartment, for goodness sake. She can practically hear us. So rude. Emmanuel kept quiet. She had been warned. It is okay. Let us leave Emmanuel alone to rest. After all, we can talk to him when he comes to church later in the week. Alright, I can't imagine how such a young woman can be so obstinate. Is being pregnant out of wedlock something she should be proud of? Pastor Komolafe spoke to him. Emmanuel, I regret to inform you that this new development will be announced in church and you'll be suspended for 2 months. It is actually supposed to be 1 year, but because whether you actually did it is still in question. Because I know you were so transfixed on Deborah for a long time. I do not see how you would have been interested in another female in such a short time. Emmanuel nodded and escorted him out. He wondered what people in church would say. They would most likely not believe him and even insult him more. Sister Deborah would feel she did the right thing by saying no to him, and many would simply call him desperate to feel the joy of marital bliss. It was painful not to have anyone who trusted him. Disgusted. That was the emotion Abigail felt for Emmanuel. She couldn't even look past his good looks. She could not believe she had been caught in the web of her own trap. She couldn't even blame him. She had herself to blame. Being in 300 level in university, she had been the most beautiful girl on campus and had even won awards. Jeremy, a young man in his final year, had come around hoping to date her. Abigail had fallen completely in love with Jeremy. He was everything her mother told her to settle for. He was rich, handsome, and very caring. He brought her things, took her out, and even gave her money regularly. She wanted that. She even coveted it. Her mother had warned her not to date broke boys and end up like her, with her father who could not move them out of their rented apartment for close to 15 years. They remained in the apartment of Pastor. When Jeremy had begun insisting on sex, she had tried to wave him off. She may give the occasional blowjobs and smoochings that she was popular for in her neighborhood and school, but she didn't want any guy to go down on her. Jeremy had convinced her and wooed her. She had accepted, and over time, she became his favorite lover. She had even spread the love to a few guys in their neighborhood. James, Emmanuel's brother, had flirted with her on countless occasions, but she had stayed away from sleeping with him, simply because they shared the same roof. She knew how entitled he could get. He would turn it into his right. Everything had gone down the drain for her when she became pregnant. Of course, for Jeremy, who always flaunted her on campus. She had even moved temporarily with him in his apartment in school. All of that bliss ended when she told him she was pregnant. He denied it and broke up with her. She refused to be broken up with and eventually traced him. It was later she realized that he had submitted his project in school and was no longer available on campus. With her pregnancy growing bigger and bigger by the day, she knew her life was in jeopardy. The shame from other students and from her mother, who would bury her alive. Her mother was not a woman who tolerated such things. Her roommate, Jennifer, had taken her to a doctor she knew who specialized in abortions illegally. He conducted a quick examination on her and simply refused to get it done. He told her flatly that her life was tied to the child's, and any attempt to abort would lead her to bleeding to death. That sealed her fate. The Christmas holiday placed her under close scrutiny from her mother, who was beginning to notice her. Why are you always tired? Why are you always sleeping? Did you vomit the food you just ate? You this girl, I hope you are not pregnant. Why is your stomach round like that? Don't tell me you overheard. I will not buy it. I was a young lady once, and I know the signs of pregnancy. I hope for your sake that you are not pregnant, because I will kill you and bury you. Try me, useless child, she threatened. Abigail knew her mother meant it. She may not kill her, but she would do worse. A story she might not live to tell. That was when she began calling her friends to come to her rescue. She didn't want to die, yet she could not abort. Her friends also could not get in touch with Jeremy. It was like he disappeared. His number was not going through. His Lagos friends visited his house and were told they no longer lived there. Her life was crumbling before her eyes. That was when her friend, Cynthia, brought up an idea. This is just a suggestion, no, because if your mother should take you to the hospital for tests anytime soon, she may just kill you. Why don't we, for the meantime, pin the pregnancy on someone else? Abigail cried. No one on campus will agree. Everyone knows I was with Jeremy. Not in school, idiot. Cynthia continued. Where? She cried as he spoke in the safety of her room. In your house or church? Is there no guy you slept with? She thought about it. Not recently. And they are all smokers and Yahoo boys. I just did it because of the money they gave me. I can't even allow myself to be with any of them. Plus they use protection. It was only Jeremy I allowed to sleep with me, unprotected. And that was because I was on the pill. That pill is not 100%. And you know it. Think. No that guy that likes you like crazy and wants to get into your pants. You can set him up and pin the thing on him. You can't keep saying no to everyone now. You have to help yourself. Jennifer snapped. Okay, I do have one. My pastor's son, James. He always flirts with me. But James is smart though. Then you will spike his drink. Don't worry. We'll visit your house when it will happen. Maybe it is Christmas. We'll bring the drug. I will collect it from a guy I know on campus. He will be so stimulated. He will have slept with you before he knows what he's doing. Yes, Cynthia cried. All you need is the video. We'll video it for you. Just a small part of it. We don't have to stay to the end. They laughed while discussing our predicament. That had been the agreement. James was supposed to drink the wine she brought into their home that night. The parents had all gone out to church for a meeting, and her friends had come over to stay for a week with them from school before going to Lagos for the holiday proper. Her mother had also finally had enough of her vomitings. She had no idea how it happened. 1 minute, she handed the drink to James. The next hour, she found him still sober. When she inquired, he said he had given it to his brother, who had probably never tasted alcohol before in his life because he was a serious Christian. He wanted to play a prank on him. He watched him drink it and even cajoled him that it was only bitter because it was a new fruit juice brand, like a medicinal wine. Furious within, Abigail went into Emmanuel's room to check up on him. The man might be handsome, but because he had become blind in his teenage years, she had stayed far away. He was not on her radar. She didn't speak to him at all. Never ever. But seeing him highly intoxicated was different. He had removed his shirt and sensed her. She moved closer to check him, but he dragged her closer. She should have shouted and screamed to be saved, leaving the man humiliated. But then, the thought that his drink had been spiked would come out. Since he would not be in his right senses at that moment, she allowed him because her mother was bound to find out sooner and she needed someone to pin her pregnancy on. If she showed evidence that she had been maintaining a relationship with Emmanuel before now, then she would be saved. and with him being blind, it was her word against his. Perfect. Emmanuel had not been accurate when he said he had not slept with her. He had. Her entire body was sore from how well he used her throughout the night. She locked the door firmly, so no one knew what went on in his room. She placed the video camera on a top shelf and directed it at them. Since her friends had slider, none of them showed up to assist. She went through with her plan alone. She picked up her camera, her somebody, and left his room very early before anyone saw her. She carefully unlocked their kitchen door and sneaked out. She hid the camera and faked sweeping the compound to hide the fact that she had not slept in her room at all. All of this had been planned perfectly. She couldn't even bring herself to say anything to Emmanuel. True, she was sorry to have used him, but it was better than living under bridges, mutilated and pregnant. She didn't have a penny to her name. She had been so reliant on Jeremy. She never thought to ask him for big amounts of money. She only took what he sent her. She signed as she stared at the money Emmanuel had given her that morning before leaving the house. It had been about 3 days now, yet she hadn't stepped out to go to church. She had shut him down when he insisted. She knew all those church people were just waiting to condemn her, and she would not be condemned. She had no interest in staying around and becoming his caretaker. His parents must think they had gotten a free caretaker for their son. She would not do it. She picked up her phone and began dialing her friends. It was time to move to the next stage of their plan. She was not going to stay married to a blind bat.